this person has had to wait all this time. So you really, really, really need to show some love because she's been back there, I'm sure, sweating bullets, waiting with each call of the name. Please welcome Bridget to the stage.
I was 16, and I was in high school, of course, in my senior year, living with my family in the suburbs of Philadelphia. And I was an ice cream scooper as a part-time job. And so a coworker of mine said to me, hey, listen, I gotta pick up my dad in my car, and this is where I store my 3-foot bong. And I want to know if you can, kind of babysit it for the night. So I said, yeah, sure, why not? Just another thing for my poor mother to contend with. But I wasn't a total idiot because he said if I babysat the bong, he would load it with a pretty healthy dose of pot. So that worked. Anyway, so I took it home, and I'm in the safety of my bedroom, and I'm like, okay, so I've got this like huge 3-foot glass bong. And I'm like, total score, I'm gonna fucking smoke the shit out of this. But I totally forgot how much I suck at smoking out of bongs, because there's like this, I guess there's like this hole in the back, and then you have to fill it with water, but I just don't know how much water. And then you gotta like inhale it, and then you gotta pull this lip out. It's fucked up. Like I can't do it. Like other people do it for me, and I'm usually at parties, and I'm so wasted at that point that I'm just like, what happened? Okay, I'll do it. So like, I can't do this by myself. Like I need help doing this. So I'm very overwhelmed. I'm like, oh, I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. So I take the lip of the bong with the pot, and I put it in my desk drawer along with my little wooden bowl because I know how to smoke that. And so I put it in the drawer, and I just take the bong and I shove it in my closet until the next day, until I have to like return it to this dude. So the next day comes, and I'm just like, okay, I have to go back to the shopping center, the ice cream store that I work in, and return this bong to this guy. So, but I still live with my parents because I'm young. And I'm thinking, okay, I have to bring it down the steps and out the door without anyone noticing what this is. So I look around my room, and I said, okay, what can I conceal this in? So I see a pant leg, like these pants. I've got pants. I'm a fucking mess. I got pants all over the place. So I see like this pair of pants, and I just shove, I don't know how I did this. I shoved a 3-foot bong in this pant leg. I'm like, oh, that'll conceal it. I don't know why I thought it would conceal it. It's like stiff. It's like a stiff pant leg, so it looks like a fucking rifle. So I'm just like, oh yeah, no one will know the better. So I start walking down the steps, and it's about like this long, and I'm just like kind of like very like inconspicuous, but I kind of look like Scooby-Doo because I'm kind of like, that's inconspicuous. So I'm like walking down like doo, and it's like banging against the banister like boom 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 boom. And so I make a left out the door to my house, and I see my mom on the phone. I'm like, score, I'm out. And she's on the phone with my uncle. She's like, Hugh, I'm gonna have to call you back. And she hangs up. And I'm just like, oh fuck. So I'm like running in the car, like shove the pant leg in there, and she's like, where you going, Missy? And I said, how would she know that this is concealing like drug paraphernalia? Like I wouldn't even know this. And she sees it, she knows what it is, and she's like, I know what that is. I was like, oh, come on, Mom. She's like, that's a bowl, and you smoke marijuana out of it. And I go, it's not a bowl, Mom, it's a bong. Like, I thought that was hilarious. I was like, what an idiot. And then she was not amused at all. So I'm like, oh. So she says, what are you doing with that? And I said, it's not mine. I'm returning it to a friend of mine. Like, it's not a big deal. And she's like, oh, who is this friend? I said, well, he works with me. Anyway, I got to go return it. She's like, I'd like to meet this guy. And I said, ah, shit. So I said, that's not going to happen. And she's like, no, it is. And I said, oh, my God, you're going to totally humiliate me. And she's like, good. So she's like, and by the way, I don't want you driving around with that drug paraphernalia in your car. What if you get pulled over? Yeah, that's kind of a good point. So we bring Mom in the car. And so we get into the shopping center. My friend Dave sees me, and he like sees my car. It's like a Volkswagen Bug. Like everyone knew my car. And it just had like a shitload of stickers all over it. So we like pull up in my car, and he comes like running out. And then all of a sudden he sees like this older woman in my car, which is like my mom, and he kind of like stops short, and he just stands there. I'm like, yeah. And so she gets out. She's like, come here. I want you to grab this drug paraphernalia. You take this bowl out of my hands, young man. I should tell your father. And I'm thinking, how the hell is she gonna know who his father is? Like, she doesn't even have his number. He's like, oh my God, please don't do that. She's like, I won't, just like you won't tell my daughter to cut your drugs around. So I'm just like mortified. I'm like, oh, sorry, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Anyway, we get in the car. It's super awkward, super quiet ride back home. But I'm kind of used to it because I was kind of like, I was like this way as a kid, so it's okay. We get back to my house, and I totally opt to just not do dinner. I go to my room because I didn't want to hear the whole drug talk. And while I'm up there, my mom's making like some, shake and bake chicken dinner. And I'm upstairs like just like this agonized teen, And my mom's like very like Chet Baker. I'm like the Smiths. I smoke pot and do drugs and drink a lot. And her like big deal is to drink like cold duck with dinner. So we have nothing in common. So I'm just kind of like agonizing about this, So I'm like, she'll never understand me. So anyway, she comes up after dinner and she's like, okay, what's going on with the pot? What is this all about? And I said, you know what, Mom? It's really not that big of a deal. And if you just tried it, you would realize it's like a glass of wine. And she's like, really? And I said, really? And I can't believe what happened next. I opened the drawer to my desk and I pulled out my wooden bowl and I had the pot in there and I laid it out on the dresser, on the desk. And I thought, you know what? This is going to happen right here, right now. It's going to we're just going to make this breakthrough. It's going to be like a generational gap, a societal gap, Cheesemo versus cool. We're going to break this shit right here, right now. Okay, we're going to be like Cheech and Chong. So I put it out there, and she looks at that, and she says, give me that. And I said, oh, shit. Give it to you to confiscate, or give it to you? And she didn't answer, so I lit it. And I think I was more freaked out than she was at this point. And I handed it to her, and she hit it. And I said, okay, Mom, slow down there. Whoa, boy. Not so much. And she's like, oh, this is silly, this is nonsense, not doing anything. And she's like puffing the shit out of this thing. I'm like, whoa, Mom, seriously, calm down. I'm the one freaking out. And she's like, oh, this is nonsense. And all of a sudden she starts talking really non-linear, not making any sense. And then she starts talking, she's like, what was I saying again? And then she starts petting her like our family dog. She's like, oh my God, he's so soft. And I said, shit. I'm not cool with this. I just got my mom stoned. My Irish, Catholic, conservative, Republican, strict, sweet mom stoned. It was just so uncomfortable. And so she's like, that's not working, it's not working. I'm like, oh, it's working. So in Weirdoville, I was like, okay, I can't handle this by myself. I'm gonna bring her back downstairs with my brother and my dad, who are sitting on the couch watching Seinfeld, because I can't handle this shit. So I just like, Mom, let's go downstairs, watch some TV. So we go downstairs and we settle down on the sofa. And there's commercials on in between Seinfeld, and my mom says, what's with all the commercials? Can't we put a program on? Program? And my dad says to her, Jesus, Bella, are you drunk? And she's like, no, I'm fine. And I look at my brother and I kind of whisper, I'm like, actually, she's stoned. And my brother says, what? I'm like, yeah. Okay, my dad, by the way, I'm so close to done. My dad, by the way, is so hard of hearing, or at least he feigns that he is, but it's actually selective hearing. So with that, she's like, this did nothing, I'm going upstairs, I'm going to bed. And my dad, who's a complete night owl, and it's 8 o'clock at night, goes, I'm gonna go up. Ew. That really grossed me out. So anyway, at the end of the day, quite soberly, I had realized at that point, I felt really guilty for confusing my mom and getting my mom high and having my mom being groped by my horny dad. I realized at that moment I liked my mom as my mom, and she's there to make the rules and to set the boundaries, and I'm there to break them. Thank you.
That, just for future reference, was right in my emotional wheelhouse. That was beautiful. Another round of applause for Kusha.